Hi everyone, my name is John. I'm 20 years old. I'm a regular guy, height 6 foot 1 inch. I love sports, but I only work out to keep myself in shape. I moved into a dorm from my parents, and that's where I met my wife. Her name is Betty, a beautiful hot girl I married. We started living together, and I found a part-time job to combine it with my studies. All in all, things were going well. Since the university was in a neighboring town, we went to her house very often, almost every weekend. A little bit about my wife Betty's family. Her mom, Helen, is 44 years old, a beautiful woman you wouldn't think she was over 40. As soon as I saw her, I knew she was a very attractive woman. She looks after herself, not thin, but not fat either. Her impressive bust confidently caught my attention, and her warm smile gave her an advantage over the other ladies. When we went to the beach, it was hard for me to ignore the envious looks of the women and the lustful glances of the men. To be honest, I was very attracted to her myself. At first, I didn't seriously consider anything more than friendship, but things change. My wife Betty is certainly simpler than her mother, but that's understandable, she's still young. I can't stand my father-in-law, Frank. It's not that he's a bad person, but we constantly have disagreements about all sorts of things. Over winter break, Betty and I decided to visit her parents. When we arrived, Frank wasn't home. He was away on a business trip as a trucker, which, of course, pleased me. We sat down at the table together and drank some wine. After that, we decided to watch some romantic movie. A guy meets a girl, then a second girl appears. You know the kind. I don't really like those kinds of movies, but my mother-in-law and wife do. During the movie, we drank some more wine, and Betty decided to go to bed. My mother-in-law, Helen, and I stayed up to finish the movie. As soon as Betty left, Helen spoke up. "How are you and my daughter doing? Is everything okay? When are you going to have grandchildren?" "All in good time, mother-in-law," I replied. "I need to finish my studies first, and then I need to think about children." "I see," Helen replied, resting her head on my shoulder. At first I didn't pay attention to it, but then when she put her hand on my chest and started stroking it, I realized it was for a reason. Helen wanted attention. Without thinking long, I put my hand on her waist and we lay there, cuddled together. But at some point, the scene in the movie became so enticing that I couldn't resist kissing Helen on the cheek, and she didn't mind. After that, everything escalated, and we fell into each other like crazy. It became a regular thing, happening every chance we got. Helen was afraid of being caught together, and understandably so, neither of us wanted publicity. So we were careful to keep things quiet. There came a time when no one was home. This time, it was in the kitchen. Just as we were in the middle of it, we heard a voice say, "Are you crazy?" My wife Betty was standing in the hallway watching us. We were so engrossed that we didn't hear her come in. Of course there was a fight. Betty filed for divorce, but that was just the beginning. As soon as my father-in-law Frank found out, he wanted to bury me. I hid from him for a long time. Time passed, and things got better. I got divorced. Helen's mother-in-law stayed with her husband, who forgave her. Only he doesn't know that Helen and I continued to meet and enjoy every moment together. Months passed after the divorce, and life took a strange new direction. I moved into a small apartment near campus, diving headfirst into my studies and part-time job, trying to forget about the chaos that my affair with Helen had caused. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop thinking about her. Helen and I continued our secret meetings, each more exciting and dangerous than the last. We knew we were playing with fire, but we couldn't stop. We carved out moments when we could quick lunches, late-night dates, and even short meetings when Frank wasn't home. Each time we met, the world around us seemed to disappear, leaving just the two of us in our own little bubble. One evening, Helen called me, her voice strained. "John, we need to talk. It's important." My heart raced. Had Frank found out? Was it really over with her? I arranged to meet her at a small cafe on the outskirts of town, away from prying eyes. When I arrived, Helen was already there, looking as beautiful as ever, but there was a look of worry on her face. I sat down across from her, my nerves on edge. "John," she began, her voice trembling slightly, "I'm pregnant." The words hung in the air between us, laden with implications. My mind went into overdrive. Helen is pregnant? With my baby? It was something I hadn't expected, something that could change everything. Comment, like, and thank you all for watching. You're the best.